Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Meredith Phillips. I've had a full day already. It's like 1 o'clock. But yeah, you saw I was kind of running around. I was doing things outside of the house this morning. Who am I? Yeah, we had like a little local writer meetup, writing time, fun times. Anyway, I got some work done there. We're gonna go do some more work. I have a lot to catch you up on though. So when I last talked to you in an actual vlog, not the querying vlog, I had sent off my outline to an editor for a critique, and I got the critique back yesterday on Friday. So we're going to be diving into actually looking through all of that today and kind of making a plan for revision. I've already read it all, of course. I paused like my entire life when I finally got the email. I was like, nobody talked to me. And I read all of the things. But I actually have a project I need to finish first, because if I try to do outlining stuff for my own project, that's all I'm gonna want to focus on. So we're gonna wait for a second. While I have been waiting for the feedback, I actually took on a beta reader / critique partner project for a friend. So I've been working through that. I'm almost done. That's what I was working on at the write-in kind of thing this morning. I have like literally one scene left, and then I need to sort of put together like my final thoughts and answer some questions and things like that. So that's what I'm going to work on. I think maybe just an hour. I think I can finish that in just an hour. So let me wrap that up, because that's the headspace I'm in right now. And then I will tell you how the critique went, the types of feedback I got. If there's anything in there I feel like would be helpful, interesting to you, I'll let you know. Let me wrap up this beta reading project. All right, so let me get all my beta reading, critique partnering stuff pulled up over here. I really love helping people with their stories. I find this so fun. I learn so much. I feel like when you read somebody else's work, you see like the really good things that they're doing, and you see the things that can use improvement. And then for me, at least, I'm always like reflecting back, like, wait, am I using this cool technique she's doing in my book? Or, oh, I noticed that she's using, I don't know, she's not using enough sense description, like smell and hearing and like that kind of thing. I bet I've done the same thing in mine. Let me go back and look, So I feel like you learn so much by reading other people's work and really analyzing it and thinking about it. So if you've never had a chance to beta read or find a critique partner, the critique partner matchup is still open. I'll link that video below if you don't know what that is, but it's still up and running. So if you haven't checked that out and you want a critique partner, there might be a good match for you in there. But anyway, yeah, if you've never read somebody else's work and critiqued it, highly recommend. Highly recommend. I just feel like you learn so much while you're doing it. So let me wrap this up for her, and then we'll get started with my stuff. So you remember when I was like, probably an hour, probably just an hour, maybe an hour. I don't even know if I need that. It's been 2 hours. It's 3:08. I take so long. Do you guys, if you've been a beta reader, are you just like with all your comments? Or are you just like, let me consider how to put this in like the best possible manner? And I spend like 25 minutes on like one little comment. I take so long to like digest, like, what are you actually thinking? And like, how can you put it into words that this person is gonna like understand? It just took a long time, not because of the story, but like just because my brain. Okay, so I am done with that. Oh, I need to stand up or something. My brain has done a lot of thinking today, if I'm being honest. Let me take a quick little break just to get up. Then we'll come back and we'll chat a little bit about the outline critique I got. I don't know if I'm going to be ready to start any kind of thing today, because I'm fading, but we could at least chat about the feedback I received. And yes, chat later after break. All right, little break over. I had some chips and salsa. It was delicious. Let's chat outline critique. So if you missed the vlog where I was talking a little more in depth about this. I'll link the playlist of all these videos below, but just real quick overview. There are developmental editors out there who are starting to offer outline critiques. You can send them your outline. Can you tell it's like kind of late in the day? It's fine. Send them your outline and they'll give you a critique of it. Does it sound like this is decent? That it's going to work? Are the characters compelling, etc., etc.? So I decided to try one out. I'd seen a couple people on Instagram that I follow recommending one particular person. I had been following her for a little while. I liked the stuff she was posting. She even recently posted, I'll link it below, where she was talking about like how to evaluate an editor to decide like, is this person legit or not? And I feel like if you're not legit, is that the kind of thing you're going to be posting? Probably not. So anyway, I felt confident in going ahead with her service and I'm really excited about it. I'm really happy with what I got. So I was allowed to send her up to 10,000 words of an outline, which is a pretty good chunk. I feel like you can say a lot in 10,000 words. And she also allowed you to submit things like character profiles, world building information, any other kind of little supplemental materials you wanted to give her more information about your story. The main thing she was going to evaluate, of course, was the outline, but she said she would provide any kind of commentary that she felt was necessary or needed on the other supplemental materials. The outline had in-doc comments on different aspects, and then she also provided an editorial letter for me. On her website, she said that a letter would be at least 5 pages long. Mine was 13 pages long, so that was exciting. The letter did include some things that were like general advice, like it wasn't necessarily super specific to my story. So it's not like she had 13 pages of this is advice specifically for your story. It was more like, here's some general world building advice, here's some general character advice, like that kind of thing. So I definitely have at least 5 pages of specific information for me, but the whole letter was 13 pages long. And then you also have like one page where it's like a little intro, and then the final page is like a little conclusion thing that doesn't really give you new information. It's just sort of wrapping things up or whatever. I've printed it out and I highlighted the things that resonated with me that I want to look into further. The thing that I feel like after reading this over, I feel like a lot of the things that she points out in this letter and in the outline itself are like smaller pieces, like clarify this, or you could go a little deeper with this kind of character element and like things like that, which was great. I definitely want to do that. I was really not necessarily surprised, I guess, but happy. She didn't seem to have any like critique in terms of like, whoa, this second act is like a lot. You might need to move some pieces around or tighten this up, or like this feels like it's going to go too slow and your pacing is a little off. She didn't have any kind of commentary on that, which was really nice. The biggest piece of like, maybe fix this up a little bit kind of thing was hilariously the intro. And I'm not even really torn on this. I feel like her advice is very solid. I just don't want to do it because I really liked the opening image I had. But let's kill some darlings. One thing that I feel like you've probably heard multiple times, you've probably had this yourself in your own writing. One common mistake for writers is that they start their story too early. They have chapters and chapters and chapters of backstory or setup and all this kind of stuff before we finally get to like the inciting incident or like actual story things. And oh my goodness, it's actually getting exciting, right? And so a lot of writers end up having to cut, several chapters or scenes at the beginning of their story because it's too much information. We don't care. I had the opposite problem. She said, I think you're actually starting your story too late. She said, the way you have it structured, you're not giving us enough look at the characters' lives before they kind of get into the main bulk of the story. And that's, of course, like, I feel like in almost pretty much any outline, template, save the cat, whatever you want to use, the first 2, if you're writing a romance, there's usually like 2 intro scenes, one for the heroine, one for the hero, right? And you kind of get a glimpse of what their life is like, what's wrong with their life, what are their goals, and that kind of thing. And then maybe by chapter 3, you're kind of getting launched into a meet cute or an inciting incident of some sort. And so my first scene, as I had it in the outline here, was like all of the things. It was introducing the two main characters and the meet cute, and it's the inciting incident and all this kind of thing. And so I really love that scene. And she was like, this scene is great. Like, it can absolutely still be here. But she said, you maybe want to put like something before it, because she said, you've got a lot of backstory that plays into that scene. And she was like, I don't know if you're going to be able to incorporate the necessary backstory to make it all make sense without it being like a giant info dump. And obviously we do not want to do a giant info dump. So that's really the main piece that I feel like I need to sort of look at again, which means I have to come up with a different opening line, which I'm mad about because I really liked my opening line. It's fine. It's fine. But of course, if you change something at the beginning, if I add new stuff, new chapters in the beginning, that's going to push everything back. So what was originally the adhesion beat at the 25% mark, that's going to be pushed. So I need to kind of look, I mainly look at Act 1 and see how I can incorporate a little bit more setup in an interesting way, obviously, and not throw off the rest of the pacing for that act. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely need to think about that a little bit. I'm not sure. I've had that scene in my head for so long. Like, this is the opening scene. And like I agree with her. I agree with her. I'm just annoyed about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I haven't decided or haven't thought of what could be a different opening scene. I don't know. So yeah, I'm still mulling things over. She also had a few stray comments on the ending. She liked what I had, but she thought I could kind of expand certain elements of it to show a little bit more like completeness for the character arcs. So I definitely want to sort of think through that. She had some really good ideas that I might just use her ideas, because you can use ideas. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I need to look at that too. One other good little sort of tidbit she put in here. She said, I don't think this is going to be a problem. It didn't look like this was going to be a problem based on your outline, but just like keep this in mind as you draft. One of my characters is an introvert, like very introverted, not interested in being out in public, etc., etc. Relatable. And so she said, that's totally fine. You can absolutely have that, but be careful you're not putting that character in too many scenes where she's like the only character, because then you kind of get like navel gazing situation going on and there's no one for her to interact with. It can be difficult to have like a conflict if she's the only character in the room. Now, obviously you can have characters by themselves. Sometimes they need time to like reflect on what's happened or whatever. But she was like, try not to do that too often, because that can like slow things down if they're the only one in the scene. So anyway, just a little tidbit. I thought that was a good thing to keep in mind, especially if you have, like she said, introverted characters where that might be the thing they want to go do, is just like go to their room and be by themselves. But don't let them do that too often. She had a few other little notes, questions about like maybe consider this or adding that to different scenes, but it was all like very specific to those scenes. It wasn't like, I don't feel like there's any kind of particular advice I can share with you based on that. And then, yeah, so that was pretty much it. Like, those are the main points. Definitely need to sort of like brainstorm and think through some of them and how I want to implement the feedback. My favorite comment, though, I will share with you guys because it just made me so proud. You saw how hard I toiled over those documents to make them organized, readable, understandable, right? Here's the best comment I received. Thank you. Thank you very much. Honestly, it warmed my heart. All right, so that's it. I will tell you, it was Courtney Spack who did the evaluation and critique and everything. I'll put her information below, her Instagram and her website if you want to check her out. She does other stuff too, the outline critique, and then she has other more standard like developmental edits and all that kind of stuff. I did have a thought. Oh, let me just put this in here for you pantsers out there. I know all the pantsers are like, oh, outline critique, like that is not for me. which maybe it's not. However, I do think a pantser could potentially utilize this service, and here's how. If you pants a first draft and then turn the first draft into an outline, you could send that. I mean, it's kind of like getting a little bit of a developmental edit, right? Like, right? So yeah, I think you could potentially use this service even if you're not an outliner. If you've already done, or even if you're on like draft 2 or 3 and you're like, I don't know, something isn't quite flowing, turn it into an outline and you could send that. Let me know if that's, well, my papers are everywhere. Let me know if that sounds like something that you would do. If you're a pantser, would that work for you? Or are you like, I just hate the whole idea of that? So yeah, I'll put her information below if you want to check her out and see what all she offers. Now again, I do think the true test is going to be, did this make, or will this make my first draft stronger than it might have been otherwise? And hopefully involve less intense revision. I don't know. We'll find out together. It is now almost 4 o'clock. I'm just sort of like, I'm not ready to even like write anything down yet for this. You know what I mean? I'm still just sort of thinking like, what do I want to do? I think maybe what I'll start with is just rereading the outline, honestly, because I haven't looked at any of the material for this book since I sent this to almost 3 weeks ago now. Honestly, what I'll probably do is start fixing some of the smaller pieces that she had pointed out, and then work my way up to some of the bigger pieces. But yeah, we'll just kind of brainstorm a little bit as I move about the rest of my day. I do have some other things I need to do today that are not in any way related to writing. So I'm going to sign off for today. I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, the other thing I can do is she is open. Like, I can email her questions. I can email her, like, she was like, literally email me anything you want in regards to any of this. And if you want to brainstorm stuff with me, ask questions. So I might be able to send her like, hey, these are my ideas for like a new opening or whatever, and see what she thinks. We could do that. So lots to think about. Very exciting. But for now, again, I'm going to sign off for today. I'll see you back here tomorrow. All right, good morning. Today's the day. Today's the day we're going to use that outline critique feedback to fix up our outline, hopefully, and get ready for drafting. Like I said yesterday, I'm going to take a little bit of time to just like reread the whole outline from start to finish. I'm going to look at her feedback and probably try to mess with like the smaller pieces first in terms of what she had suggestions for. The other thing I want to do that I haven't said anything about yet is I want to try to use this book, which I read during my little break. I don't know what to call it. When I wasn't working on my stuff. I read through this. I liked some of the stuff that was in here, and I want to kind of make sure what I have in my outline has some of the elements that are talked about in here. If you've never read this or heard of it, I liked it. It's Creating Character Arcs. Creating Character Arcs by K.M. Weiland. She has a whole bunch of books out with character arcs, plot structure, a whole host of other things. I liked this. There were more like stylistic choices she made that I didn't love, and there was a weird number of typos in here. I'm not usually the type of person who's like, oh, there's a bunch of typos. There were a lot of typos, which I felt was like a little weird. The information I felt like was pretty solid. In any case, I'll link this below if you want to check it out. But yeah, I kind of want to go through some of the things that were talked about in here and see like, am I addressing these issues? Am I addressing these questions within my character arcs? Because I liked what she had to say for some of this. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to pull up my document that I haven't opened in a minute and start reading and analyzing. All right, it's been a couple hours. I've gone through the in-document comments and made some updates. Just kind of like little pieces, like make sure you mention this, maybe change this like teeny bit. Like I didn't do anything like super, I'm not like rearranging scenes over here or anything. I'm still thinking through this opening. I feel like that's sort of the last big piece left. How do I want to rearrange the opening? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not quite sure yet. I'm not sure what direction I want to go. So yeah, I just need time to like brainstorm that. So I'm just like letting that marinate, you know, in my head. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start flipping through this a little bit. I did take some notes and typed up notes for myself from this. I might just pull up those notes actually. Where is it? It's not really lunchtime yet, so I'm gonna just go through some of this, see if there's any little extra tidbits I can add in. I don't know if I really wish I could nail down that opening, because obviously I can't start drafting until I have that in place. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let me look at some of this character arc stuff and make sure I'm happy about how I have things set up. We had to put the hair up because things were getting serious, okay? Actually, it was just like annoying. I was like, get off. All right, so I've come up with an opening scene. I don't love it. Like, it's okay. It definitely sets things up, and there's a lot of opportunity for like including details and backstory without it being like an info dump situation. It's fine. And I don't have a good first line yet, so we'll come up with that in a little bit. So now I'm trying to think of a new scene to introduce our heroine. I'm not sure I have a great thought quite yet. Think. Do better. Do better. I think I'm just going to sort of ramble for a little bit over here and see what I can come up with. Once I have this in place, you know, and I'm not too concerned, like if I end up, you know, writing a first draft with these opening scenes and then being like, let me change it completely. Like I can rewrite 2 scenes. That's not a problem. We've done it before, so I'm not too mad about that. But yeah, let me think of something. Then I don't know, maybe I'll be able to start drafting tomorrow. How great would it be to be able to wake up and then come back here and write scene 1 in the morning? I'm excited. Let me keep trucking along with this brainstorming mess. Okay, I've got both of these new scenes outlined. I think they're fun. The second one from the heroine's POV, I think is pretty good. There's lots of tension. Nobody's happy. I think it's good. We'll see. We'll see how they come out tomorrow, because I think I'm gonna just start. I know I said I didn't want to rush, and I don't. But I'm also like, what are you waiting for? I've got the new sort of opening, and everything else flows after that. In terms of pacing, I think it'll still be okay. I'll have to see kind of how things line up and like how many words I'm at the end of Act 1, because ideally it shouldn't be more than 25,000, because we don't want to write a 100,000 word book, you know what I mean? So I have like 11 scenes now for Act 1. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I think I'm going to start tomorrow. Is that exciting or what? Okay. Ooh. I don't know what my plan is in terms of vlogging all this. My initial thought was like, well, I'm drafting. I'm gonna be working like every day on really specific things. I'll vlog every day like I do during NaNoWriMo. And then I was like, ma'am, that's a lot of work, and you also do like 2 vlogs a week with all of that. I don't really want to do 2 vlogs a week. I just don't know if I can handle that. So I think what my plan is to try to vlog most days and compile it into 1 vlog for Fridays. I think that'll work. We'll see how it goes this first week. I definitely want to aim for like 2,000 words a day, and I definitely want to aim to be done within a month, maybe 5 weeks, but I feel like a month is plenty of time for me. April is drafting month. We'll see how far we can get. Before I finish out this vlog though, I do need to let you know some things, because I haven't posted a video here for like 2 weeks, and we've had some little updates with the family. On March 18th, Monday the 18th, we did decide to have Junie put to sleep. Our little bunny. If you guys have, yeah, I know a lot of you have been here for a while and you've seen her go from totally fine to not totally fine. She had arthritis and some other mobility issues that were making it increasingly difficult for her to get around. She developed a cataract in each eye, so she was, if not blind, pretty close to it. She was starting to, her eating, she was still eating and everything, but like it was starting to decrease for sure. We just decided it was time to say goodbye. So we took her down on that Monday. We said goodbye. Our last little bunny. We don't have any more bunnies. The bunny mama has no more bunnies. It's been very weird. But as we've done with the last couple, it's always, it's obviously sad, but they make it very peaceful and calm, and you have plenty of time to be with them and say your goodbyes and everything. So it was good in that sense. I had brought treats with us so that we could give her plenty of treats as we waited in the waiting room and everything. At our vet, I assume they do this pretty much the same everywhere, but they first just give them an anesthetic shot, right? Just to make them go to sleep. And then they do the euthanasia drug later. But when they get the shot, with Nibs, he took like 15 minutes to fall asleep. With Crispin, he was asleep in like 30 seconds. And so with Junie, I didn't know like what was she gonna do. And so as soon as they gave her the shot, I was like, here's another treat. And she was eating a treat and her mouth was chewing and then just kind of was like, it just sort of stopped. So she fell asleep with a treat in her mouth, which I felt good about that. I felt good. That seems like a pretty good last little memory for yourself, I think. She is ready to come home. We had all of our bunnies cremated, and we got the little paw print and everything. So my husband's going to run down to the vet and pick her up and bring her home, and I'll put a little video clip in here of them, but they are all lined up on our shelf in the living room. Our sweet little bunny babies. I miss them. It's been very strange. I haven't had to do any bunny medicine. I haven't had to pick up and clean mess off of a bunny for almost 2 weeks now. It's been weird. And then the other thing too, I was feeling like, okay, well, we won't have one of our bunnies anymore, but we'll still have our foster bunny, right? We had our little tripod foster bunny. Literally like 3 hours after we got home from the vet appointment, I got a text saying that someone had applied to adopt her. So I was like, oh. So we had her for another week, but now we have no bunnies in the house. We have no bunnies. I didn't have to buy cilantro at the grocery store for the first time in 12 years. It's been really weird. I keep wanting to like go through that room, the bunny room where we had them in their pens and everything, because like that's what I did. Instead of taking the short distance from like my office here to the kitchen or something, I would always go through that room because then I could check on them, see them, pet them, but there's nobody over there. But my body just like naturally goes that direction. So anyway, I know everybody likes seeing the bunny clips and everything when I have them in the vlogs, but I won't have any more. We're not planning to get any more of our own. I'm open to fostering maybe, but like give me a hot minute. I need a break, honestly. Like we've had disabled rabbits in our house for almost 3 years now, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of physical work. It's obviously a lot of like emotional work. You're seeing the bunnies and the pets that you love slowly go downhill, so that's not easy. And then there's a mental load to it too. For 3 years, I've had like a constant thing in the back of my head of like, did you check on them? Oh, it's been a little bit since you've checked on them. Oh, go check on them. And it's like constantly in the back of your head. And I still have moments where I'm like, oh, I need to go check. And it's like, no, you don't. There's no one to check on. So yeah, it's I need a break. I need a big break just to not have that kind of mental head thing going on. Getting used to a new normal around here in regards to pets. But yeah, I do miss the bunnies. I do miss them a lot. But I knew you guys would want to know because you guys have always been so encouraging and excited to see them and everything. And so that's it. There's no more bunnies here. I'll definitely be sure to show you plenty of clips of the dogs doing cute things. I don't know if that's quite as cute as bunnies. I'm going to be fully honest with you. I don't know if dogs are as cute as bunnies. Okay, but they're still pretty cute. So I'll definitely make sure to include dog footage in the vlogs from now on. Let's end on a slightly more positive note. We're about to start first drafting. I'm excited. Next Friday, I'll have the first vlog for you showing you how the first week went. Hopefully it'll be positive and good. Ooh, we'll see. We'll see. So I'm going to leave you here for today. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button. I post videos usually on Fridays. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.